I want to start with your reaction to what you just heard about Mexican cartels increasingly diversifying their criminal empires. We see them stealing gas through tapping pipelines, extorting avocado farmers for so-called protection money, extorting residents to access the internet or face death. What do you make of them increasingly looking beyond drug and human smuggling now?
Well, first, I got to give kudos to Jorge for an excellent report because he is spot on. And what this is showing is the evolution of the cartels. You see, the cartels and these criminal organizations are not the same that they were just 20 years ago. I worked for investigating them for many, many years, all my career, as a matter of fact. And I've seen the evolution and the changes that these cartels have gone through. And the number one change is the ability for them to move into these different industries by illicit activity, extortion, kidnapping, and many money laundering, many other aspects. The avocado trade, one of the strangest ones that I've heard recently was the jellyfish trade. If you can figure that, yes, the exportation or the exporting of jellyfish from California to China. So the cartels are there to make money and to acquire power. The only difference is, of course, they're doing it illicitly.
Yeah, understood. And I know this is incredibly personal to you, not just through, the sheer number of years that you've worked on this. You and your partner were ambushed by cartel members in Mexico. Both of you shot. Your partner did not survive. What does the U.S. need to do to curb the cartels as they are simply expanding their power now?
The number one answer here is I think that the organization and the administration today has failed, first of all, through the intelligence sector in recognizing what the cartels are. They're no longer drug trafficking organizations. In my opinion, they're foreign terrorist organizations, and they should be designated as such because they have evolved. We have to evolve with them as far as the way we investigate them. I'm the first one to say the way I used to invade the cartels and cartel members is a very outdated form of getting to these networks and trying to, bring them down. And one of the things that we would use a lot is to dismantle them first and break them up and try to get to the higher fish, as we say. But that's what this government and this administration hasn't done. And I think they have to recognize that they need to go above and beyond and use very different techniques. And one of those is this very important designation. Let me tell you what the designation does really quick. It will open up very different resources, especially Department of Defense resources. It would allow the United States government to go directly after the assets of these criminal organizations, their money, everything that they have in the U.S., because a lot of their money and the money laundering is happening here on the ground in our country. And then, of course, it opens up the door to go after them, but possible military. And I'm not saying that's the first response, but definitely have to change the way we look at them because they are using a lot of the street gangs, a lot of the organizations in the U.S. are working for the cartels. It's their product that they're selling. It's the fentanyl. It's their methamphetamine. And therefore, we need to look out to who is financing them. And we need to go after that money. And we have to change the way we go after them.
Yeah, and I appreciate you pointing out that a terror designation is far more than ideological. It actually opens up different pathways, different resources than currently exist. Very quickly, I know that you just returned from the border in El Paso, Texas, and South New Mexico as well. What did you see in those areas in just about 20 seconds?
It's the wild, wild west there. It's cartel land. It's very, very active. I want people to know that people are entering this country undetected. I give kudos to the Border Patrol because they were out there. I have never seen in the last 2.5 years that number of Border Patrols out there trying to apprehend and detect these individuals, and so they were. I saw a weapon, a magazine of a weapon fully loaded that apparently an illegal had left behind. This is very concerning. And so the meth continues to come in here. The gotaways continues to increase. I will continue to share this, and I'll be there next week, as a matter of fact, with the Lost Voices of Fentanyl in Washington, D.C., to get more awareness about the fentanyl issue in front of the White House and in between the monument to get more awareness about this huge, huge problem in our country.
Yeah, and I hope you report back to us after that rally. We appreciate your time. As always, retired Homeland Security and Special Agent Victor Avila, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.